a non-conformist oath. I promise to be different. I promise to be unique. I promise not to repeat things other people say.
And that's it. We are live. Positive Blatherings with Fitz podcast, season 2, episode 1. And I'm excited that I have my dear friend Dresden Engle from Dresden PR. And the story behind it is I tried desperately to get you in on the Blathering when I first started it actually July. I'm a little bit over a year. And
desperately.
You are just so hard to tie down, lady.
No, I'm going to say that the reality is you didn't have to circle back to me because you are so popular and you know so many amazing people and there are that many amazing stories to be told. So I'm thrilled to be here with you kicking off season 2.
Yeah, baby. It's crazy. And we're also on Facebook Live, so hey, say hello to your Facebook peoples.
Hello to
if anybody actually, I'll be honest with you, whenever I do a Facebook Live from my Positive Blathering page, it doesn't get the traction as if I did it to my personal Scott page. So we'll see. Maybe there might be some latent viewers.
So should you do it from your personal Scott page is the PR counsel I will offer you during this session.
Would that be wise?
We help each other. I think it would be wise.
Yeah, and then share the video
too. Well, yeah.
All right, well. Unfortunately, I didn't consult with my PR maven.
We're kicking off season 2 with things now streaming live on Scott's personal page, and then will be shared later on Blatherings.
Right. So thank you for coming in.
Oh, thanks, love. Your eyes match your shirt.
My eyes match your shirt.
Meow.
The Cougar and the Cabana Boy. I'm a little bit older than a Cabana Boy now.
That is a musical that I wrote.
Yes, you did, and we're going to get to that.
Oh, I'm just going to sit here and enjoy this.
Man, I'm not used to the levels in here. I'm not happy with at the moment, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so going back in time just a bit to 2012, when I was just a traffic lad, walking into Tony Infantino's show on Warm 101.3, and you were the guest, or you were his co-host. You were
filling in for Christy
because Christy was out, and you were there, and at that time you were handling PR for the Eastman House, if I believe.
I was still at Eastman House in 2012. Yes. Yeah.
So that's when I met you, and it was like I felt like you were the first Rochester superstar that I met. No, superstar. What? Okay, so think about it from my point of view. See, the laugh heard round the world. I am not from here.
Okay.
And I did not know the radio landscape at the time. I didn't know how long Tony had been around, how much, he was a figure in Rochester radio. A lot of things. So I see you as a local celebrity.
I'll take it. And big fish, small pond. I'll take it.
It's definitely a small pond.
It's because I love everybody in this town.
You do. And that's the thing that always got me is that I was like, first of all, I was like, how the heck is this person on all the time? You were just like, boom, 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 boom. But funny, I had the best time that morning.
Aww.
And I
just remember flirting with the cute traffic boy. And then you were very good at your job. Let me mention that to him.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was very intimidated because that was my first time doing live radio since college.
Yeah.
So I was really like nervous and kind of and my self-esteem was much lower then. So I was really self-conscious about how I was doing and whether or not I was doing a good job and stuff like that. And you were just so authentic and funny that that day was like a turning point.
You remember that day?
Oh, absolutely.
What a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You really did. You really had an impact on me that day because you were Tony's guest, co-host, and it was just like I was watching real radio happen for the first time. Because you guys it was not rehearsed. You didn't really. Yeah. You're like, oh, he said, oh, you want to talk about this? And you're like, hey, let's do it. And you guys just went off, and it was a hilarious little bit. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I wanted to thank you, in this forum for actually having that impact on me. It was really special.
I want to thank you for sharing that with me.
My pleasure.
That is the most amazing compliment that I've gotten from people is in that vein, which is that somehow I made them feel better about themselves after we talked.
Right.
Can there be a better compliment ever given? Your hair is pretty, your eyes are pretty, you danced pretty. Like, all those things are wonderful.
Right.
But to be told you made someone feel better about themselves?
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Yeah, that's epic. And the great thing is that since then, we've both kind of gone way above where we were shooting at the time, like just our goals. So I don't know.
We took on this scary thing of starting our own business.
Yeah, but throughout all of this, I've learned so much by watching you interact with people and especially with all your team of millennials that work.
As Norma Holland calls them, the Merry Band of Millennials.
Yes, the Merry Band of Millennials. But, I mean, if you think about it, that is really brilliant. Because they're the ones that know what's happening. I'm so lost. I'm 46, and I couldn't tell you what was cool to save my life. It's just not. It's not happening.
And it just worked that way because everybody who's on my team, I have performed with on stage. So that's where in theater there's really no age. Right? You bond and you appreciate each other's creative strengths. You play off each other. And that's really what we do in the office. We don't really worry about age and so forth. So Michaela Grecker, our social media manager, she's based in our New York office, and she just slays on social media. And I'll turn to her and say, give me some advice on this Instagram thing. And then at the same time, I'll bring to her my 30 years of wisdom and how it plays big picture.
Right.
And we just play off each other beautifully. I swear every company should have that kind of a program where
a mentorship
the people
program.
My age then work with the millennials. And in turn, those folks my age also have an open mind for the millennials to teach them.
Yeah.
We are living in a world, people say digital revolution. That happened so long ago.
Yeah.
Like we're so beyond the digital revolution.
Yeah, totally.
That for so many people get frustrated because they don't understand that whole part of it. And business is marketing, and marketing is, digital. And there's no way that the business world can continue until folks my age fully understand and appreciate what younger staff can do, and vice versa, because it cannot be done in a vacuum. There has to be strategy and learn from experience. So wouldn't that be amazing if there really were these programs, even if a third party, let's do this business, Scott, where a third party came in and said, okay, for this entire week we're all flip-flopping, and for 2 days you're going to work in there, you're going to shadow them, and then for 2 days they're going to shadow you. You're going to teach each other, you're going to mentor each other, even if he's 22 and you're 56, and vice versa. And then that second day they discuss what they learned or whatever. Just 1 week. I think it would be phenomenal.
It would be. It's so humbling, and I don't know how many people actually have the fortitude to let go of their ego and actually take that role, that subservient type role in their company. But it would be fantastic.
It would be fantastic. And then there's also the age discrimination, right? Because I was at this amazing, mind-blowing institution of George Eastman House in 2008 at the time when I say pretty much it all started around when everybody got on Facebook in 2008, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much, we've really only been dealing with social media for 10 years, and not even to the magnitude for 10 years, really
feels
5.
Like 20.
Feels like 90. And we all went kicking and screaming into it because it was another level of work for us to do.
Right.
Well, I couldn't ignore it, even though I was over 40, because I am at this talk about content.
Yeah.
George Eastman House.
I know, right?
Oh, my gosh. So I had to get right on the front lines. And my boss, Eliza Kozlowski, and I just dove right in. And, heck, we won national awards for it because no other museum was doing it at the level we were. So I know more about digital than people would give me credit for my age.
Yeah.
And that, right, so there's the age discrimination that comes in as well. So if everybody could just share and embrace and sing Kumbaya and love one another. But the reality is we really have to learn from each other because it cannot be done in a vacuum. You need to know the big picture marketing and communication. So, yeah.
Did you know you were going to get a master class today? Oh, look at that. You did.
Sorry.
She looks back like, who is he talking to?
I've taught college, and I just get preachy.
Oh, my God. I can imagine. You would be I'd love to have you as a college teacher. That would be just crazy.
I'm friends with every single former student.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So let's take a little trip to the past.
Okay.
Let's talk about the first time you ever performed. Because at heart, at the very basis of Dresden, you are a performer.
Can we post a picture later?
Sure.
Because I have it. I don't have the video because the TV station in Utica killed all their film. They got rid of all their film in the 70s and things went to videotape. Doesn't that hurt you?
Oh.
So it was called Talent Time, and it was on WKTV in Utica, New York. And my mother put me on TV, and we have this picture of me, terrified at 4 years old. But did I sing Good Ship Lollipop? No. My sister got to sing Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. I had to sing a song from Hair.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. About the Hells Angels. And like,
you're 4 years old?
Hashtag hippie mom.
Oh, that's brilliant, though.
It is. It is.
So how much of it do you remember?
A lot of it.
Yeah.
Because somebody was in the studio that day was, I'm forgetting the actress's name, Martha Ray.
The Big Mouth.
Benita Bazar.
Wow,
she was Benita Bazar on the Bugaloos. She was there. So, yeah, I vividly remember that day.
Wow, that was way before the... what was the denture commercials she used to do?
Polydent.
Take it from the Big Mouth.
So I've had mind-blowing experiences.
So that was the first. So would that at 4 years old is when you sort of caught the entertainment bug?
Yep, that's when it started.
Wow.
Yep, and then church. Mom was church organist, so singing in church and never stopping singing in church. And then even as a cheerleader, I would belt the national anthem from the middle of the basketball court and get nodules on my vocal cords and all that good stuff.
Oh. So you had to not talk for a while?
Sound like this. When I got to college, my voice teacher said, "That's it, you're not singing anymore." And I'm like, "But I have to." So I would have to get written permission from him to go out for musicals in college, and I was a theater major.
Wow.
Because I had to be in such intense therapy for my voice, yeah.
That's great.
Because you think anybody in my small town of Frankfurt Schuyler High School would have said, "Dresden, we know you want to study this in college. Choose cheerleading or theater because you're destroying your vocal cords." Now,
yeah, and at that
hanging
time,
out with the
nobody
football
would...
team, would I have listened to them? Probably not.
Yeah.
I only said hanging out with the football. Let's get that clear.
Yes.
Remember the Catholic school mentioned earlier. Anyway,
How much Catholic school did you have?
Only through 8th grade.
Oh, okay. See, I only had high school.
Wow, that's a flippy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, 9th grade for you must have been hard.
Yeah, that was no pun intended. Hey! So in Florida, so my high school was St. Thomas Aquinas in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Which happens to be the #1 school in the country for football.
Holy crow.
Yeah. At the time, they weren't the #1 school, but I remember my first day in the summer in Florida wearing corduroys. Oh my God, it was horrible.
Did you make the noise?
Chafe. Oh yeah. Well, and there was 300 of us walking down the hall, so it was just
everybody was in corduroys.
It was just except for the girls. They were in the little skirts, and that's when puberty happened. No, oh man. Catholic high school. Those were the days. So you've got your high school musicals and all that kind of stuff, and then you go to college.
To SUNY Oswego, I double majored journalism and theater. I come to Rochester for a journalism degree. Was always going to go to New York and blah blah blah. And then as I said to somebody, I went to Rochester to get my feet wet, and they said, "And you fell in."
And you fell in.
Boom.
You do that here.
You do that here because it's amazing.
It is, and I tell people every day. Every day there's got to be somebody that I mention, I was raised in South Florida, and they're like, "What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Why did you come here? You're doing it backwards. You should be going down there now."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was so sick of Florida. There was too many people, and just it was blah. And I come here, and I just love this place.
Love this place.
I do.
The energy, the culture, the change of seasons, except for those 10 days that are dreadful in the winter. But for the most part, it's all pretty freaking fabulous.
It is.
And we don't have the locusts and the bugs.
Locusts.
But somebody recently who's been working in Rochester for decades in a high-level marketing job recently saw this amazing show that my friends were in at the Lyric Theater called Shout. And he said to me, why are they all here? So I had to go into this conversation I've had with many people of the quality of life in Rochester is pretty fabulous. And you can still find a day job that fulfills you with your theater degree. And you know what? Your side job of being able to do theater and still fill your soul is plentiful in Rochester.
Yeah.
So every girl in that show had a BFA in theater and singing, acting, all of it. And they opted to accept quality of life as the better way to go than living in New York and waiting tables and schlepping all over the place.
Right. For the hope, that little small sliver of possibility that you're going to get that role.
And at the end of the day, why do we want it? Well, we want to fill our souls with it. Well, you know what? There are plenty of other places to do it than in New York and so forth. Now, heck, the gentleman who played, I had an amazing thing happen to me last year. I was able to work with Eddie Money on his musical, and we debuted it here. And heck, he loved his mother so much. I played his mom from 1968 to 1982, and he narrated in between the flashback scenes and so forth. This gentleman who played my son, who's from Webster Thomas grad, Alec Nevin, just got cast in a lead in Bronx Tale National Tour.
Wow.
All this week. Matt Kemp from Fairport just graduated from college in May, and he just got cast in the national tour of Dear Evan Hansen. And he will be in Rochester when it comes here. So these are two gentlemen that I know, love, are my friends, and just both got cast in national tours this week. So there are people from Rochester who make it and love it.
Yeah.
But then they might come back here someday to raise a family. You never know.
What's his name? Rick Schroeder from Webster?
Yeah.
He was in Kinky Boots.
Also rocking it. Yep.
My daughter, who's in the next room just hanging out, killing time, is the biggest Dear Evan Hansen fan that you will ever find ever.
Maybe you need to get her to New York so she could sit in on a rehearsal. Connections. Are
you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I would definitely be transformed from daddy to daddy.
My kids are 13, so it would take a lot more than that.
So a perfect segue. Kids.
Yeah, kids.
Let's talk about kids. So we both have kids on the spectrum.
Well, actually, my daughter's not on the spectrum.
She's not on the spectrum?
She has cerebral palsy.
So she has cerebral palsy. Okay, so developmental.
So extremely social, but has physical and developmental challenges.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and challenge is the key word there.
Challenge is the key word, and there's no manual that comes to the parents who have kids who have challenges. And navigating it and trying to get sympathy from even the professionals in the field, like teachers and principals, is not always there.
Yeah.
And I, have met some of them. I've had life-changing principals and teachers in my daughter's life. And then I've had some that I don't know, maybe had to unleash a media firestorm on. Did I do that to that principal?
Be careful with
someone. Who locked my daughter in a closet?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And the favorite thing that everybody came up to me after there was 9 radio interviews, 5 TV stories, and 2 newspaper articles, they said, did they not know what you did for a living?
Yeah. Seriously. It's
all I did was put it on Facebook. That's all I did.
That's all you had to do.
Hey, media friends. This person just locked my daughter with cerebral palsy, who weighs 40 pounds and is 7 years old, in a closet because she threw a book. So parents have to advocate. You cannot sit in the back seat if your kid has a challenge.
My wife is McKenna's 100% I mean, she has, since her diagnosis in kindergarten or first grade or whatever it was, we've been after the school about this and this and that, like constantly arguing with them about what they think she is and what we know she is.
And we don't want to argue.
We don't, no.
Like, we're all on the same team, right?
That's what exactly. So with that, now what I was getting at was that some people, how do I put this? I would never know that you have that you've had that challenge, that you've had to do that.
It's not past tense.
Right.
It's the rest of my life.
Right. So because of the way you handle it and because of the way you present yourself, it's not, you know how some, like, I'm a very much a heart on my sleeve kind of guy. So if I'm having a bad day, I don't take it out on other people, but if you know me well enough, you could tell that something's off and something's not right. Are you kind of like that too, or because whenever I've seen you, I would never know that there was anything wrong ever in anything. I
have announced to my team when I've walked in the office, I'm in a bad mood today. Just warning you, but I usually get over it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I am very, very fortunate. I had maybe 2 days of postpartum depression after my child was born, and I went, oh my God, is this what it feels like to be depressed? And I will have sympathy forever for folks who have depression. Now, granted, have I gone into depression after like calling off a wedding? That happened to me, and that was, oh my God, horrible. But I'm talking about depression without being able to understand why it happened.
Yeah.
And not even wanting to smile and say hi to the guy at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Like that's so I am so blessed that I just naturally am that person. I have a brother and sister who keep their head down and don't talk to people.
That's like mind blowing.
You know,
to me.
they're successful in their jobs and everything, but they don't inherently ever care about making somebody else's day better.
Would that be
sorry?
Would that be
them.
what you would think? Yeah. What your modus operandi would be is that you really want to help people have a better day.
But even if that's not my goal, and I do as a result, I just why not smile and be happy?
Yeah.
And I'm so fortunate that it naturally comes to me.
So how much would you say that personality trait has helped you with your career and with your business?
Everything. Absolutely.
I would think, and especially in PR, like you've got to be that person.
When I tell people that what you need in PR is you need to be able to write, which is sad that most of the PR majors don't even require the students to write. PR professionals used to be former journalists, but now there's PR majors in colleges, and they're not teaching them to write.
Or are they more marketing? Like what would
it's
that
like
be?
Looking at case studies and analyzing
trends
and
stuff like that.
Yeah, but you're not learning how to write.
You got to write. Bottom line, you got to write a good press release, right?
Write a good press release. Ghostwrite a blog for a CEO. Know how to write a succinct tweet. Right, like everything is writing and communication. And then the other one is, you really just got to inherently like people.
Yeah.
Be likable.
Yeah, you can't not like people and be in your line of work.
Right. Otherwise, just go be a writer or something where you can still use your craft and your talent, but you don't have to interact with people every single day.
Yeah.
Because people know if you're being fake, you know? And you're likable. And that's why people like you. And that's why people like to listen to the station, because they feel like they really know the guy on the other, side of the microphone and so forth. So, no, I really do think I'm blessed because I know not everybody wakes up every day happy. And I'm not saying life is easy. I already told you I have a child with a disability.
Right. And that was the thing that always struck me about you is that you definitely come across authentic in that way, that you're just up. You're just, and I'm sure there's days where you're like, oh crap, that is a dark sky, but you still don't go and, sit down in a dark room and think about the dark sky all day. You just kind of move on from that.
And I know people who can't snap out of the depression, and I so wish I could in some way, osmosis-wise, get them to feel how I feel inside. Yeah. I so wish I could, because I'm very, very lucky.
I have been trying to use this podcast and other ways over the last year and change to do that, to snap myself out of and, get on a better path, learn how to listen to people. That's one of the reasons why I do this podcast, to learn how to listen to people better. And instead of just waiting for them to finish and then asking another question.
I need help with that.
It's hard to do.
Like I get excited and I want to jump in.
Right.
So I need to work on that too.
But
right, see, I did that on purpose.
But it's
I jokingly cut you off.
It's different when you're excited and you're just taking the conversation like you're running with it, as opposed to serving your own, self.
Yeah.
But when you started Dresden PR, what would you say was your biggest hurdle?
Well, so my biggest hurdle, the reason why I did it is because I needed to be there for my daughter more. The times changed at her elementary school, and now all of a sudden school's starting at 9, and I just after being at Eastman House more than 15 years, just couldn't go back to them again and say, can I change my schedule, around again? Because they had been generous for way too long, and I just needed to be there because the behavior issues were the challenge. So I couldn't just get her to go to, everybody goes, just drop your kid at the Y for 2 hours in the morning and they're going to have fun before they go to school. Did not have that option, and no family in town to help as well. So I did have to leave my job that I loved, in which I had mind-blowing experiences happen. I'm looking at your picture of Philip Seymour Hoffman playing Truman Capote on the wall. Those are the kind of people I hung out with on a regular basis. And I'm not name-dropping. I'm just saying that I had mind-blowing experiences. Travel and press conferences for stars and, the stuff that... It was like this mind-blowing Hollywood job in Rochester. Yeah. Eastman House is bigger... Eastman Museum now is bigger outside of Rochester than it is in Rochester. Garth Fagan's bigger outside of Rochester than he is in Rochester. It's just how it is. And that's okay. We should just be extra proud that we have these treasures that are known internationally. So biggest hurdle was having no business sense whatsoever. I'm a writer, for God's sakes. So that's still my challenge, every day. Sure, it's a financial risk. My husband's a teacher. It's not like there was this big nest egg sitting there for me. So navigating the business side alongside the creative is a challenge.
Yeah, but I can attest to that.
And you can probably also attest to this too, Scott. If you do good work and you put good out there, I have never had to look for a client. They've all called me. Are you also in the same boat?
For the most part. For the most part, I'm unique in the fact that I'm the only one of these podcast studios in town that...
Yeah, but if you stunk...
right.
People would know about it in one
exactly.
second.
Exactly.
Because word of mouth is brilliant.
Right. But trying to convince people that they should be doing this is a different story. And I don't have that team to go out there. So I have to hope that...
Oh, you do indirectly. You're ambassadors.
Oh, yeah. No, I have.
Norma Holland and Andrea Holland are indirectly on your payroll as your PR people.
Right. And I, and the fact that I have such amazing people that come through these doors, and I'm blessed as well because I get to hang out with them.
Yay us. Seriously.
It's tremendous. I get to surround myself with people that are achieving things that I could never imagine. If I was in Florida, let's put it this way: if I stayed in Florida, continuing with what I was doing now,
would you still be wearing corduroy?
I probably would be wearing corduroy.
Oh, God, keep going.
Cut off corduroys. It's even worse.
Yow again.
Black socks, sandals. Because I was working at Carnival Cruise Lines, and that job was sucking my soul away, believe it or not.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Oh, my goodness. And so I've done so much and had so many great experiences up here.
Right.
All the while trying to find out who I was and trying to shake off who I was from the past, all of the, serious character flaws that I've had. And thankfully I've had a loving, gorgeous wife by my side.
I was just telling you that,
3 great kids. And,
your Facebook posts are so inspirational.
I have to make them that way.
And you and your wife together. But I know we all want to, those of us who stop and think before we post, no names mentioned, we do try to go positive and not put the sad stuff online. Yeah. But our goal isn't to lie. We just want to choose to put the positive stuff online.
Right.
But the pictures of you and your wife just, out having a great time together and adoring each other, that's real. And I love that you share that.
I'm thankful every day because that was the present that almost never was. You know what I mean? And so we're really happy about that. And my parents are visiting from Florida right now. They're enjoying themselves.
Can we talk to your mom about the corduroy?
You know what the funny thing was about bringing the corduroy back up is that this was 1987. It was almost impossible to buy corduroy because by that time it was really going out of fashion.
It wasn't the preppy thing anymore.
No, and we had to order them on the JCPenney catalog because you couldn't buy corduroys in the store. We gotta go to Sears and get more slacks for you, honey.
Slacks. Oh, see, that's what's great about comedy. You know the word that's funny. I always said Cabana Boy, and now I'm like, I think Towel Boy is funnier.
The Towel Boy.
Creepier, but funnier. So you got to know your audience.
Who is your audience?
My audience. Actually, can I tell you something?
Everybody is your audience.
I got to give an actress in town credit. We were at a Broadway karaoke event at the Park Ave pub, and I'm like, I'm going to sing a song I've never sung before. I'm going to sing the TNA song from A Chorus Line. And Diane Chevron comes over to me and she whispers in your ear, know your audience, look around. Current Mayor Tom Richards was sitting there. I go, oh, dear God, thank you. And I think I sang Where the Boys Are by Connie Francis instead. Like, could you imagine me at my age up there singing from a chorus line? You know what song I mean, right?
I don't.
Oh, well, you know what T&A stands for?
Yes, I do.
Oh, or leave it at that.
I was able to put that together.
You're a good man. Tacos and...
Tacos and ascots.
Almonds. Yeah, there you go. So thank you, Diane, for saving me, for embarrassing myself in front of the mayor.
What would you say is, if you could go back in your youth and change one thing? Like, if you could go back and say... Shh, hey, Dresden, don't do that.
Wow.
Is there anything that you could do? Is there anything that you would pick?
I mean, there's an ugly one, which would be I would not have dated my first fiance. Okay.
That's fair enough.
Because that was just no good all the way around. I mean, and then there's one that's serious. I would have had a scheduled C-section for my daughter. And then she wouldn't have cerebral palsy. So I got serious. So anyway, back to the comedy.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun. So I'm in a comedy troupe. I've mentioned Andrea and Norma, but also Allison Roberts is the founder of it and the brilliant Freda Schneider. And the five of us are Astrofest, which I often use as a branding example of what not to do when you are deciding a name for your brand. Because that name evokes different things that we're not. Right? People think we're angry. People think we're Menopause the Musical. People think we're Vagina Monologues. And it's like, no, we're just five women who are funny who have male guest stars often as well.
I could see that.
So what we did is, instead of, people don't say the all-male band, the Beatles, but they always say the all-female band, the Go-Go's.
Right.
The all-female band, the Bangles. That's every single time. Bangles. I got to say it more Rochester. Bangles.
The Bangles.
You know what the Rochester accent is? My friend Karen Cook told me. It's, my name is Karen, and I buy pants at Panorama Plaza. That's the Rochester. Because I'm like, what is the Rochester accent? I'm not from here either.
That's like my wife. Your father. Father?
Okay. Anyway, so 21 years now. We've been doing sketch comedy. Has
it been 21 years?
21 years. We started in 98, and we first took the stage 20 years ago in January 99. And at the time, Kate McLean and Adele Fico were in it as well. And for more than a decade now, it's been the five I mentioned. And, oh, my God, we get to... These crazy characters that we, just have been telling at cocktail parties now can come to life.
I love your shows.
Thanks, man.
I've been to quite a few of them, and it's just... it really...
to make people laugh.
The best part about it, for me personally, is watching you guys up there having so much fun.
So much fun.
It's like I'm having the fun with you because you're having the fun, and I'm thinking it's just fun all the way around, especially when something happens and you're kind of breaking on stage and one of you is trying to keep a straight face and the other one, it's the best. It is absolutely the best. How much of a stress relief is performing like those kinds of shows?
Everything. If I will have sometimes if traffic gets crazy, I'll, like most old ladies, we'll have I'm only a little older than you, but I feel 90. Okay, last night went to the amazing Hall & Oates concert. Did I just date our podcast? But anyway, I went to a CMAC concert. Not mentioning any time frame. No.
Yeah.
Traffic got a little crazy, and at one point I got a little freaked out, and I literally forced myself to laugh. Because
that's how you dealt with it.
Yeah, it releases something in you.
Well, that's actually science.
Yeah.
That even if you're forcing yourself, laughter does release endorphins and serotonin and stuff like that.
And then getting these creative things out of us, the craziest thing. Okay, I'm going to blow my daughter in. My husband found out something. She told a white lie. He believed it. I'm like, really? Now I'm writing a video. Because we do videos as well, about a third of our show is video, because there's things that we can only portray out in the real world and with other actors versus just in the confines of a theater stage. And I'm like, that's it. Lies that teenagers tell their parents and what the parents do to see it through. So just that's all it is. And I put it in my phone, and now I have my Astrofest file for the next show, which is all it is. And like I was reading fairy tales to my daughter and came across an old one years ago that was like, beat them all soundly and put them to bed, grind their bones to make the bread. I'm like, what is this? So created a character called Mother Moose where I tell the action. We're in a PBS show. It's the first show. And we're mounting, I'm just telling the actual fairy tales from the early Grimm fairy tales days. And one by one, the kids are running out of theater screaming their head off. Meanwhile, I have a drunk gingerbread man, Johnny Hoecake, who we pulled in at the last minute because my sidekick I
love it.
Yeah.
I love the pictures with John, was it Johnny Hoecake?
Johnny Hoecake.
I
invented Johnny Hoecake for that one sketch, and now Johnny Hoecake has gone on to have his own cable access. We say they. We don't know if Johnny's male or female.
Yeah,
we just
right.
leave it open. We use they pronouns, and just the characters where we take them. It's so fun. So thank you for liking what we put out there, and heck, who doesn't want to laugh?
And if you ever need, a guest director for one of your videos, I'll be happy to help you with that.
You want to help me with that teenager lie one? Yeah. I have other ideas. I'll run them by you.
Can we do a 25-year-old? Oh, never mind.
Actually, let's make a video together for Esterfest.
Okay.
Done. Boom.
So what's something like, say, in the near future that you hope to achieve?
Working on a musical with Eric Johnson from OFC Creations.
I know Eric, yeah.
Called Wrapping Around the Christmas Tree. And it is going to be 2 competing tables at the mall selling wrapping services.
Yeah.
And I'm the head of the robotics. I'm the mom who's the head of the robotics kids, and then there's the 3 old ladies from the Happy Time Home, and we're just doing everything, trying to get Santa to move closer to my table, and I get at one point I get upset, so it's original, but funny, holiday centered. I'm like, why did my kid have to be in the robotics club? Why couldn't I have had a Girl Scout? She would have sold Girl Scout cookies, and then I sing "I'm Dreaming of a Box Cookie" to the tune of "I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas," and the kids all come out dressed as the different cookies. Just crazy, silly fun.
Love it.
That's all I want. I don't want to take life too seriously.
No, we can't do that. That's just a bad. Forget it. Let's just shut it down.
But I tell people all the time, do not think, because I will admit I turned 53, and it hurts me to say those numbers, but the alternative, right? And I have already had so many dreams come true after 50. Like, I don't know, sharing a stage with Eddie Money, singing the...
So, that's interesting that you bring that up.
Do not ever stop with your dreams.
Thank you, because, next month we're shooting the first few scenes of Bottom Feeders, our feature film.
Yes.
We were not able to raise the money we needed. We have way less than we need, but we're still doing it. We're still chasing after that dream, even if we've got to do it piece at a time, which we didn't want to do.
Good.
But we're doing it, and it's not going to be easy, but film before 50. I'm 46. Steve is 49. He's going to be 50 in December, so unfortunately he's not going to get it done before he's 50, but I still can.
Yes, you can.
So I'm going to thank you so much for coming in.
Dream away, everybody. Dream away.
How can people get a hold of you if they want your services?
My website is DresdenPR.com. Thank you, my friend. You are the best. We're so lucky to have Fitz in Rochester, everybody.
Oh, thank you. We're lucky to have Dresden. And that's it for Positive Blatherings. Next show, I've got Kelsey Little from GoFundMe talking about her podcast. She was here in studio. See you next time. What do I do now? Oh, I think I go back to the logo. Let's do that.